Hello, my name is Sydney McMenamin. This is the teacher interview assignment for session 2. The person that I interviewed was a public school teacher, and she teaches 4th grade reading and math. The first question I asked was, think about a specific student who has challenging behaviors in your class. What are these behaviors? And she stated that he has ADHD, so he has a lot of avoidance, hyperactivity. He does a lot of drumming on desk, which causes noise, as well as just making noises with his mouth or talking to himself. He also blurts a lot in class, doesn't really raise his hand, and a lot of times he refuses to work. The second question I asked was, do you know or have any idea as to what triggers these behaviors? And she said he does have ADHD, and this has caused him to be 3 years behind, so that kind of creates some struggles during class, in which he feels like he can't do the work. And as far as she knows, he also kind of has a tough home life. The next question I asked is, what have you used as some possible reinforcers? Are there any reinforcers that do not work? And she said she uses force tickets, which they have there, that they can use for different things throughout the year. Seating chart choices, in class partner choices, and just giving him more independence. She said that this student of hers makes her, or always says that the teachers are treating him like a baby. So he really appreciates when they give him any sort of independence or any sort of choices that he can make on his own. And the reinforcers that don't work just kind of depends on the day and what his behaviors are through the day. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So she just kind of said that was a day-by-day situation. Has this child been involved in developing any type of behavior plan? And she said no. As far as she knows, they don't have any sort of behavior plan or IEP. Are the parents of this child actively involved in school? She also said the answer to this one was no, which causes some issues as well. And that's part of the fact that he has a rough home life and they don't make the time to focus on his schoolwork or his homework at home. What are some strategies for your entire class for solid behavior? She says positive reinforcement is huge, which I always preach and write about in my assignments. Positive reinforcement is one of the best ways to grow the behaviors that you want from students and stop the behaviors you don't. Have buy-in. If you aren't passionate about what you're teaching and you're not trying to show the students that this education is super important to you and should be super important to them, they're not going to have that either. They're not going to care as much. Create relationships individually. So with each individual student, she said she tries to have some sort of personal relationship with them, whether that means she just asks about their weekend or tells them she likes the shirt that they're wearing, something like that. She uses humor in her classes. She has high expectations, which I also think is super important because kids respect you a lot more and want to live up to those expectations when you set expectations for them. Consistency and clear about consequences. She says the consequences in her classroom never change, no matter who it's for. The consequences are set. If you do this, you get this. If you don't do this, you don't get this. Like, everything is the same for everybody. And Love and Logic, which is kind of a program that you can go to trainings for. She loves Love and Logic. She kind of preaches it in her class. Do you have any tips and tricks that you could recommend to a new teacher in reference to behavior management? She again said Love and Logic as well as Envoy training. Connect every day and give choices. So that's like creating relationships. Giving choices. Her example for this was one student she asked to put a coat on to go outside. The student did not want to put a coat on to go outside, even though it was freezing. And she said, you can either carry your coat outside or you can put it on to take it outside. You can choose. So give them choices, but those choices should ultimately lead to them still following the directions. She also said that teachers make mistakes and new teachers need to be aware of that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes because if you are, you're not going to ever grow and achieve. Making mistakes just teaches you lessons which you need to have in order to learn what to do better next time. She also said don't be afraid to be in charge. A lot of teachers are afraid to set those expectations. And she said to me, the kids like it when you're in charge. They expect you to be in charge. When they walk into the classroom on that first day, they expect you to lead them. You are their teacher. So don't be afraid to do that.